Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're gonna do this stocking, which is fairly big stocking. I've made these for my grandkids, so they are quite sparkly. I used the sparkle yarn, which I'm gonna be using again today. So let's get started. This white sparkly stuff I bought on Amazon. It is from the Red Heart Super Saver with Love Metallic Collection. And this I bought at Walmart, I think. You can also probably buy it on Amazon. It is Caron Simply Soft, but it's from the Party Collection. So it's got the metallic, the glitter in it too. So that's what I'm going to be using today along with my 4mm or G hook. If I used the hook that this is worsted, so it's telling me a 5mm hook is what I need, but I think that would stretch over time because you're going to be putting candy and stuff in this, and this is going to stretch. It's only crocheted, so I thought that something that with a tighter weave would probably hold out longer. So that's why I'm choosing to do this. You can do whatever you want. That's just my suggestion. So let's start with a magic ring. So we're going to put 9 double crochets. You're going to keep your chain 1. You're going to put 9 double crochets into this ring. That's 9. We are going to be slip stitching. So I only want to use 8 of these double crochets. So this one extra one that I did is going to be just for slip stitching. So slip stitch and chain 2. We're going to put a double crochet in that chain 2 space, cut down on our seam. And then I want you to put 2 double crochets in each stitch around. So you should have a total of 16 because we're only using 8 of the double crochets. We're not using all 9. So that is my 16. I'm getting a knot here somehow. So that's my 16. I'm going to slip stitch to the top of this first chain. I'm going to chain 2. And I'm going to put a double crochet into that same space. So your next round is going to be 1 double crochet and an increase. So this is 1 double crochet. And then the next stitch gets an increase, which is 2 double crochets in the same space. And repeat. One double crochet, 2 double crochets, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets. So you should have 24 stitches at the end of this. So slip stitch to the top of this first chain, chain 2, put a double crochet, So your next round is going to be 1 double crochet in each stitch, so that's really going to make this start to round out. So you should have 24 stitches. So I'm back around to the other side. I'm going to slip stitch to the top of this first chain. I'm going to chain 2, and I'm going to put my double crochet in that chain 2 space. So far there is no seam. You can't really see a seam. So I'm just going to tuck this in because it's getting annoying. So now you're going to do 2 double crochets and an increase. So that's number 1. That's number 2. And then your increase of 2 double crochets in the same space. And repeat. So at the end of this you should have 32 stitches. So I'm back around again. I'm going to slip stitch to the top of that chain. And for my color change, I'm going to fasten off, just because I don't want any white and red leaking through onto each other for the switch. I just want to do the switch. So I'm going to pull this through. You can weave it in or not. It's completely up to you. I didn't do for the babies because, I mean, babies don't really, the parents usually stick their hands in there, but for kids and adults, which this size kind of fits both, yeah, they like to jam their hand in there and get their stuff out themselves. So we're just going to tuck away these pieces so that they don't get caught before we continue. Alright, I'm going to turn my light up a little bit. I am going to switch colors. So I'm going to do a slip knot. I didn't do that very well. Anyway, I'm going to do slip knot. Where I fastened off, I'm going to go back into that same space, or as close to it as I can. I'm going to reattach with a single crochet, and I'm going to put double in there, same space. So your next row with your new color, let me get unwounded here. Your next row with your new color is going to be 3 double crochets and an increase. Starting in your first stitch. Oops. That's 3 double crochets. And then your next stitch gets your increase. Oh, this Caron is slippery. I forgot, I don't work with it much. I like it, I just don't work with it much. And repeat. Three double crochets, and then your increase of 2 double crochets in the same space. So this brings you up to 40 stitches. That's as far as we want to go. So I'm back around, and I'm going to slip stitch to the top of that first chain, and I'm going to chain 2. I'm going to put a double crochet in this chain 2 space, And then for the next 6 rows, I'm just going to put 1 double crochet in each of these 40 stitches. And then we get to the heel part. So I've got my 6 rows done, so you should have 7 rows altogether, because this, we changed color and then we did an increase row, and then we did our 6 rows of the stocking color. So I am going to slip stitch to the top of that first chain, and I'm going to fasten off because I'm going to change to my heel color, which is my toe color. So I've got everything tucked in, tucked away. I'm going to go back to my white. I'm going to make a slip knot. So I'm going to reattach where I just fastened off with. So I'm going to reattach with a single crochet. I'm going to put double crochet in there, just like the last time, exact same deal. So to make the heel, there's all kinds of different ways to make a heel. So I'm going to do, I have 40 stitches, so 20 of those are going to get a double crochet. Alright, so I've got my 20, which is halfway around. I'm going to chain 2, and I'm going to turn. So I'm going to do a double crochet decrease for the first 2 stitches. So you need that stitch and that stitch. So that hole and that hole. You're going to yarn over, you're going to go into your first stitch, you're going to pull through and come through 2 and stop. You're going to yarn over again, go into the second stitch, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and then pull through 3. So that's how you double crochet 2 together. So you'll see it written as double crochet 2 tog, and that's what that means. So now you're going to put 16 double crochets in here. Alright, so I've got 2 stitches left. So I'm going to yarn over and go in to the first stitch. I'm going to pull through 2 and stop. I'm going to yarn over and go into the next stitch. I'm going to pull through 2, and then I'm going to pull through 3. Chain 2 and turn. So your next round is going to be a double crochet 2 tog. So a decrease, pull through 2 and stop, pull through 2, then pull through 3. Now you're going to 14 double crochet. So I've come back to my end, and I'm gonna single crochet 2 together, chain 2, and turn, and repeat. And 12 double crochets, so I've got 2 stitches left, and I'm gonna single crochet or double crochet those together. And I'm going to chain 2 and turn. So decrease the first 2, and 10 double crochets, so if you don't want to heel this big, you don't have to do the last row with me. I'm just saying you can control the size of the heel. If you think mine is too large, you can stop at any time doing this. This is a tight cake. I wound. So this is what you got so far. This looks way bigger than it's going to when it's done, but so your next, we're only doing 2 more rounds, so you can decrease this first 2 stitches here, and then you're going to do 8 double crochets. That's my 8 double crochets, and then you're going to do these 2 together. And the last row is going to be 2 together. Sorry, I forgot to turn my phone off. You're going to do 6 double crochets. And you're going to double crochet these 2 together. So you're going to decrease the last 2. And you can fasten off. And this is what it should look like at this point. Not much like a heel yet. So weave in your end. Alright. Oh, I forgot to tuck in this guy. Alright. So this is what you should have. So turn it this side up. We're going back to our other color for our stocking color. So we want to come up over this with our other color, so we're going to have to reattach down here. So this is where you're going to be slip stitching, is right on this corner as well. So but we're going to still cut down on the seam, put a double crochet in there. So you just attached with a single, and you're going to put a double in there. So we need to instantly start decreasing. There's no stitches along here and along down here, so you're just going to create stitches. You're just going to stick your hook in anywhere you can. You could probably, per row, you could probably get 2 spots at the end at the ends there. So we're going to do 4 double crochet decrease. This does not count as one, that counts as our slip stitch spot. So wherever you can get a hook in, try to keep it near the edge. So that's 4 double crochets, and then your decrease. And repeat. So that's my 4 double crochets, and I'm kind of up near the top where I actually have stitches. So my decrease, I'm going to use one of these stitches. So up here we have stitches, which is awesome. That's 4 double crochets and then my decrease. That's 4 double crochets, and I'm back again to no stitches, but that rounds that off really nicely too at the end. What did I do? 2, 3, 4. I'm on my decrease. So that's 4. This is a big space, so I'm going to use it for part of my decrease. I'm going to go in there again. I'm going to start my decrease, and then I'm going to go into the next stitch. So I can't give you numbers anymore because I don't know where you stuck your hook during these parts. So we're probably going to have different numbers, but I will give you the numbers that I had on my last stocking. That's all I can do. So if you're close, then great. I don't know what else to tell you. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. I'm probably not even going to have the same numbers as I did on my last stocking. So I got 2 more stitches before I come to my slip stitch. So I don't think I've got the same amount that I did the last time, because I literally ended my sequence at the marker. Oh, that's not a stitch. I had one more stitch. That doesn't look like a stitch to me. It might be. Oh yeah, that's a stitch. So I'm going to slip stitch. So whatever you got, chain 2, put a double crochet into that chain 2 space. So when I did this on my other stocking, I had 50 stitches, but who knows? Let's count. $47, so I have an uneven number. 47 stitches, so I was close to 50, but I have 50 on my other one, so it all depends on what you do around here. So that's what I mean, like the numbers aren't even going to be accurate anymore, and they don't really matter much at this point. Eventually we'll have to get down to a certain number, and we can easily do that with decreases and stuff like that. So your next round is going to be 5 double crochets and decrease, and initially this took me back down to 40 stitches, and that's kind of where we want to be, because this was 40 stitches, so we want the upper part to match this part. So I'm already off my stitches, so let's see what we have to do. So 5 double crochets and a decrease. Sometimes you get stuck on these little threads that are making it glittery. So that's my 5 double crochets. And then a decrease. And my decrease. I'm trying to keep this tight too, like I want to pull tight. So I just did 3. And I got 2 left. Actually, I think I'm just going to do 5 and then not worry about my decrease. I got to do my count. I got to count first. So we have to have 40 stitches. So 40. So I am 2 stitches off. I'm technically 1 stitch off. So if I'm 1 stitch off, I am going to decrease, because one of them is my slip stitch one, and then one of them is a stitch. So I'm just going to put a decrease in here, and that brings me to 40 stitches. At least it should. And then I'm going to decrease, chain two, or slip stitch, chain 2. Let's count my stitches again, now that everything's together. So I've got 40 stitches, and it should just look like a little shoe at this point. So make sure you have 40 stitches. Do whatever you gotta do. If you gotta decrease or add some, whatever. So you can also screw around to get your 40 stitches. In the next 15 rows, we're just gonna put 1 double crochet in each stitch. So you've got 15 rows. I like to do mine and just get it done right off the hop. That's why I just did what I did there. And I also did it on camera so I could show you how to fix something. Not that it was broken, it was just I did too many when I was creating stitches. But anyway, 15 rows of 1 double crochet in each stitch. I'm not going to do 15 rows with you. So I will put up my screen and I will see you on the other side. Alright, so I am done my 15 rows, so this is what you should have. Now this is my seam, but it's not that noticeable because we did that extra double crochet in each stitch, or in the chain 2 space. So my seam runs all along down here, but it's not that noticeable at all. So we just need to put the top on. So you can slip stitch, and we're doing a color change, so however you're going to do yours. So we're going to turn that. However you're going to do your color change, I'm going to fasten off and then reattach because that's just how I prefer to do it. So I'm going to tuck in my end. Okay, so I'm going to reattach with my white. Same place that I just fastened off. I'm going to attach with a single crochet. And I'm going to put a double in that same space. So we're going to make a cuff. Let me get my other one. We're going to make this ribbed cuff all on the top. So I've made it actually fairly long, fairly big, so that you can fold it down and you get a nice size. So that's what we're making next. So before I start front post, back post double crochets, I just want you to put a double crochet in each. You should still have 40 stitches. I just want you to put a double crochet in each stitch for 40 stitches. So I've come back around and I'm going to slip stitch, and I'm going to chain 2, and I'm still going to put my one, actually I'm not going to do that. I'm going to chain 2. So because of the stitch we're about to do, I'm going to fold my thing in half. We're going to do front post, back post double crochet, so you don't need to put another stitch in there because you're not going to see a seam with this stitch. So front post, back post, if you don't know how to do this already, we're going to start right at, this is the second stitch that we put in to cut down on our seam. So we're going to use it because if I don't, it's too big of a space. So I'm going to yarn over like I'm doing a double crochet. I'm going to go into my stitch and I'm going to come out the other stitch. So I'm picking up this post. Then I'm going to yarn over, pull through, and complete the stitch as usual. So that's a front post. Your next stitch will be a back post. So you're going to alternate from front to back, front to back, front to back. So you're going to yarn over. You're going to come, we already used this stitch, but we're going to use it again. You're going to come into the stitch from the back, and you're going to go out the other stitch. You're going to go out, and you're going to pull through, and then you're going to complete the stitch as usual. So it looks funny now until we get going. So we're going to do another front post. So yarn over, go into the stitch. You've got these 2 stitches. So using 2 stitches every time. You're going to go into that stitch the front ways. You're going to go out the stitch. So then you're picking up the post, it's on your hook. And then you're going to pull through without snagging like I just did. Let me try that again. You're going to pull through and complete the stitch. So here's another way to think of it. So back post is the next one. So we're going to yarn over, hold your yarn on there. We're going to go in through the back to do the back post. So now you've got the post on your hook, but it's at the back. So that's the back post. And you're going to pull through and finish the stitch as normal. Front post, you're going to go in through the front. So any way that you know of to put that post on your hook is how you're going to do it. And then complete the stitch. So that's what it should look like. I know it's white, so it's hard to see. Let me get a backdrop. So that's what it should look like right now. I guess I could have used this as backdrop. So we're just going to continue. So if you have to stop and you can't remember where you were, this is your front post. Right on the other front post, and then this is your back post. So that's going to be back in there behind. So I'm on back post, so I'm going to come in through the back. So if you don't know where to go after you're done making a stitch, just remember you're sharing stitches. So the one you just came out of is the one you're going back into, and vice versa. So I just came out of this stitch here, but I'm going to go back into it from behind. I'm going to use it again. So even though I just used this stitch, I'm going to go into it and use it again. So it's always that last stitch that you use twice. But don't focus on the stitches. I don't know what I just did there. Focus on the post. I know you have to use the stitches to put the post on, but concentrate more on the post than the stitches. It's just easier on your brain. At least it was for me anyway. So I hope I went slow enough that you were able to pick up on this stitch. It took me forever for some reason to learn this. I don't know why. It just did. I just think the video I was learning it off of maybe wasn't telling me everything. I don't remember now. It was too long ago, but... So I'm right down at my end, but I do have one more post left, so I'm going to squeeze in another double crochet around that post. So you have a chain here that leads to the top of this post, and that's where you're going to do your slip stitch, chain 2, and we start again. So we're doing 6 rows in total. That's our first one. We're not going to count this row as our just our double crochet, because that was just kind of a base to set up for this. So you're going to have 7 altogether. You're going to have 6 of front post, back post, and then this one here when you're done your project. When you have to count everything, that's how it's going to play out. So ignore this. This is my chain 2 from the previous row. This is my post. So if you look at it, these are my front posts. They're all sticking up. This is the back post. So there is a line. There's another piece of thread, yarn, right there. That's how you know this is the back post. It's at the back, or this wouldn't be there. That's the post, front post, and it doesn't have a piece of thread across it. So this has a piece of thread right there. That's a back post. So these ones here are your front posts. And you're going to stack your stitches. So you're not going to do the opposite of what you just did. You're going to put a front post on the front post, back post on the back post, all the way through your 6 stitches. It's going to be the same. So we have a front post here, so we're going to do a front post, double crochet, back post, front post, so I'm going to let you go and do your 6 rows. Have front post, back post, and I will see you on the other side. So I'm all done my front post, back post. So I'm just going to slip stitch. I'm going to fasten off. So when I weave, I'm going to weave down this side because we're going to fold it. So fold your cuff down and get rid of this guy. I'm just going to weave him just all along the top. It's not super duper important, just not gonna go anywhere. So there we go. So I didn't make a hanger for either one of them, but I did do one for my baby stocking. So I'm just gonna do that for this one because it's pretty fast and it makes for a good hanger. So make a slip knot and chain 20. So that's my 20. We're going to use 18 of these stitches. So we're doing a half double crochet. So we're going to skip the first stitch and we're going to go into the next stitch. And we're going to do a half double crochet. So a half double is you yarn over, go into your stitch, pull some through. You're going to have 3 loops on. You're going to pull through all 3 of those loops. That's a half double. So half double, 18, all the way back up. I got a little deformed there because I had to pull really hard. I was stuck on this metallic stuff. Anyway, you can fasten off with a sewing tail. Yeah, it looks funny there because I really had to tug. I could not get unstuck. So I had to pull and I got a piece sticking up. No big deal. So, I'm going to keep that piece. I'm not going to actually tuck in any of my stragglers. I'm going to use them. So, I sewed this on just to one side. I didn't sew it on here, but you could sew it wherever you want to sew it. We'll sew it here. So we don't want to go all the way through. If you're going to unravel it, I would advise. I'm never going to probably put the cuff up, so it doesn't really matter to me that I've just gone through it. So I started this backwards. Start it with the good side facing you. Don't do what I just did. So, this is your good side. It should be facing you. So go into your stocking. Pull through if you're not gonna unravel your cuff. So fold that down. And now you're gonna go back through, not the same hole, a different hole. But now you're going to go through both pieces. Make sure they're even, at least. So that's how I sewed mine on. I am not a sewer. I say this in just about every video, but I think fair warning should be exercised. I am not a sewer. I suck at sewing. So if you know of a better way, by all means, maybe share it in the comments so I can learn how to sew. Anyway, I'm keeping that because I'm going to use it to tie a knot, just to secure everything. It's not something that you're even going to see. So once I've gone back and forth a couple of times, I'm going to use that to tie a very tight double knot. It's just meant to be a hanger. And then I'm just going to cut it off as close to the knot as I can. And, you know, it's not the most attractive hanger in the world, but it hangs. So, there we go. All done our stocking. Thanks for joining me, guys. I'll see you in the next video.